What's a sentence? A sentence is a subject and a verb. They have to have a subject and a verb to have a sentence. He runs, he works, I speak. Now you have a sentence because you have the subject and a verb. You have the person, or it could be a thing, who's in charge of the action, the commander or the king or the captain of the sentence, and he commands the verb. What do I mean by that? Well, there's something called conjugation. The subject commands the verb, and that process is called to conjugate. So if in English you said to work would be your dictionary form, or the mother of the verb, and that's, in English we say to work or to speak or to write. We always put the word to in front of it, and the listener knows, oh, that's the infinitive, that's the mother, it's not conjugated. But if you use it, you say I work, I speak, I run. Do you see? But as you go down the list of people, I, you, he, she, it, we, and they, you change it when you get to this one. I work, you work, he works. We work, they work. I run, you run, he runs. We run, they run. So when I get to this third position here, I add an S. Well, who knows why? But that's the way we do it in English. That's the way we conjugate a present tense verb in English. And if you didn't put the S, it would sound funny. So we actually do conjugate in English, even though you don't think about it because it's your native language. So now you're going to learn to speak Spanish, and you need to apply that same phenomenon to Spanish. And gracias a Dios, it works the same way, más o menos, and you can kind of keep yourself steady by memorizing this box first. Now I'm going to teach all this course with boxes. This is the subject box, and these are the pronouns, the little person that stands in place of the whatever it was. So let's say, my father works. My father works. So once you hear me say my father, I realize you know who I'm talking about. So the next time I don't have to say my father again. Next time I can say he, because he stands in the place of that. So my father works. He works downtown. So you know that he refers to my father because I just said it. Well, that's what a pronoun does. It stands in the place of a person, place, or thing that you're referring to. So let's say them in English. I, you, he, she, it, we, and they. So when you read anything or write anything, the first question you say to yourself is, what's my subject? And then you say, what's my verb? And when those two agree with each other, you have a sentence, and you make 100, right? So in Spanish, instead of to speak or to write or to run, they have verbs that end in 3 different ways: AR, ER, and IR. So there's no to, it's just hablar, comer, escribir. When you hear the AR, ER, and IR, now that tells me what ending to use to match these subjects over here. And there's 3 boxes, and you'll have to memorize these 3 boxes. You can use English for a long time for the subjects, but you need to memorize these 3 endings. But they're not too hard. So AR verbs, a verb that ends in AR, ends O, AS, A, AMOS, AN. If the verb ends in an ER, it's O, ESE, EMOS, EN. If the verb ends in an IR, O, ESE, IMOS, EN. So these 2 are almost exactly the same, except for right here, they're different. Did you notice that all number 1 is, every time you hit number 1, it's O. So that's a pretty easy one. Okay, so let's use the verb hablar. All right, what did I tell you? What did I tell you to do? Ask yourself, what's my subject? What's my verb? So let's choose a subject. I'm going to choose I. What's my verb? When you ask yourself what's my verb, answer in the infinitive so that you can hear whether it's AR, ER, or IR. What's my subject? I. What's my verb? Hablar. And now, next step. Remove the AR, now that I know what box I'm in, and match the position. Pretend this is a plastic overlay. Pick it up and put it on top of the appropriate box, and if you drilled a hole, the answer would be right through there on the other side. So I speak is hablo. You speak is hablas. He speaks is habla. We speak is hablamos. And they speak is hablan. Do you see how that works? So it's really consistent and really easy. Let's do an ER verb. What's my subject? Well, this time I think I'll use you. What's my subject? You. What's my verb? Answer in the infinitive. Comer. Oh, ER. I hear the ER. That means I'm going to be using this box. You would be comes. See, take that off. Comes means you eat. He eats. He come. C-O-M-E. He eats. All right, let's do an IR. Escribir means to write. If you cover up the E, you can see it means scribe, or it looks like scribble. We get it from the same Latin. So what's my subject? Let's do we. So we, I'm going to start off by taking that off. Escribir is an IR, so I'm going to use this chart. We would be escribimos. Do you see? Escribo, escribes, escribe, escribimos, escriben. And you just keep matching these subjects to the appropriate box endings. And now you can say dozens and dozens of things in Spanish with just this little piece of information right here. Let's do it one more time. In English, you're going to use the English pronouns I, you, he, she, it, we, and they. Those are your English pronouns. We're going to use those for a while to anchor ourselves. So whenever we want to ask how to conjugate, let's refer to English. See? And then what's my subject? And then conjugate your verb. That's all there is to it.